the GSL Global Tournament.
Up here in the top right on merry-go-round in the green, he is.
Joy Flash Wolf Sun.
Taking a big game there. Has one more ahead of him to make it to the winner's match.
It's up against the Marine Prince to the bottom left.
Gene Green Wings Maru.
In the pink. Pulling off a bit of a Marine King there, picking the pink color.
Maru looks a bit stressed.
Yeah.
After losing a game like that, especially even during the interview, saying some stuff like, you know, I want to meet San, he beat me that one time, and now I want to get revenge and stuff, and then losing the first match, he's got to be like, well, this sucks. I got to come back here and actually bring it to San. Maru definitely has to play at his very best here. San is just not going to just be a guy that he rolls over here. San has made it clear in that first match.
Gas first for Maru. 2010. GSL Open Season 1, round of 32. San beats him 2-0. And then 2012, the MLG Fall Invite Qualifier, San wins 2-1. And then the 2013 HSL, round of 8. So, I mean, last time they met in the GSL Open, that was a long, long time ago.
San's been off traveling, doing his thing abroad. Maru practicing, staying in Korea.
You know, San played on NS Hosa for a while, and he decided that that really wasn't the place for him, and kind of popped around looking for a successful team for a while. Seems to be happy with where he's settled now. But again, when you're on a team that's like this, you don't have that team house, that practice regimen that Maru has. Now, Maru is clearly trying to pull off a drop here. I think he's trying to test to see if San can hold off this drop we've seen with the Widow Mines, Marines, the bunker at the front that hits at the natural. A build that really has no name. But it's a drop play with a bunker at the natural. Like, that's what it is.
It's the build that must not be named.
It has killed many a Protoss in the past. We have seen some really solid defenses, but this isn't something I feel San is going to be as accustomed to dealing with, necessarily.
Yeah.
Very specific Korean timing that we've seen players like Maru and TY execute. Byung as well, actually.
A lot of very aggressive turrets love to go for this to start it off, because if you can do a lot of damage and the Protoss does not defend it perfectly, you can get a lot of damage done. You can enter the mid-game ahead, and that's what a lot of these turrets love to do. If you're like Maru in the first game, you're defending, you're not really making that lead for yourself. So I feel like he wants to take this game into his own hands just to start things off.
Well, 4 Marines, a Widow Mine. Hellion comes out as well. Hellion often used to scout and maybe get some extra probe kills if the probes line up to run away from Widow Mines or to Maynard to the natural. And the dropship is almost ready as well. Now the Hellion can cross the map very quickly. Let's see how successful this ends up being. He's taking a second gas back at home before Command Center. Could even try to do a Banshee follow-up or something weird.
Could definitely be for that. Still having that starport
non-add-on. That probe scout!
Did he see it, though?
Well, he saw it, but did he notice?
Yeah, that's the thing.
He's got Blink on the way. He's doing a very similar build. Second Hellion is out here. Mothership core is in between the bases. Bunker is queued. He wants to wait for a second here. Okay, he sends even a second SCV. The overcharge is at the natural, which means the bunker will probably not happen. Well, let's see how much damage he gets done here in the main. That Widow Mine! Okay, he cancels the Widow Mine attack. Wants to come over and do some more critical damage.
And he stays alive.
Nice. Target gets 4. And with no detection, he could get even more. These 3 Marines are doing a lot of damage. But like I said before, the natural, with that overcharge, is protected here, and there's no bunker. So this doesn't do as much as he would like for it to do, but it still killed a lot of probes.
Yeah.
And even more will go down if he doesn't somehow eliminate this. With no detection, I don't see a way to get it.
It's going to be a pain. He has a probe ready. It's standing right on that Widow Mine, and it's going to take the one shot. And
he targets it on the right probe, but it's still not close enough.
Yeah. And there's that Banshee follow-up you were talking about. Got one Banshee here. No cloak yet.
He's going to do Marine Tank Banshee with Marines to follow this up. And on a Protoss economy that's very light at this point with only 19 probes, it'll be very difficult to hold this. Now, he might be thinking Cloak Banshees are coming when he sees that Banshee for the first time, so he's going to want to make an Observer, which means less Immortals to deal with the siege tanks. And in general, you know, Immortal's not going to be that great against a heavy Marine count. Marine commentators are going crazy about this.
The one thing about this build that Maru went for is that his CC is very late compared to the Nexus of San. So San has that Chrono Boost, he has double Nexus, and he's going to be getting probes out the wazoo here. Now from the below ground is that Stalker Mothership Core combo here.
Needs to blink back. There he goes. But that's a good scout for him. Okay, you're going siege tanks. Oh, there's nothing here. Nothing.
Set probes.
Set probes to kill.
Yep.
3 of them down already. He's got an Observer over here, which is probably thinking like, aha, but he didn't even research Cloak, didn't even commit. Banshee's just going to trade for probes. Doesn't even send it away to save it for his unit comp for his timing later. He's got a third... hold that thought. Okay, coming in over here to the main base. He's got to be careful. There's a recall here. Damages a lot of those Stalkers. Keeps the Raven alive. He's got a third siege tank about to pop out, and I think he will move out with this.
Well, he's got a lot of Marines here. 2 siege tanks, 1 Raven, and more siege tanks. Double barracks as the follow-up. Going to switch into that bio composition here.
Just going to keep rallying across, I suppose.
Yeah. I think he's going to switch one of the barracks onto that tech lab that was on the starport. Start making Marauders, getting those upgrades as well.
Kill this pylon, but actually the Protoss army circumvents him here. And remember, with these Blink Stalkers, you can buy a lot of time.
That Raven has got to be so careful.
In the past, we've seen players like Killer actually use Blink as the answer to this type of push. Because a good Blink Stalker tactics, you can actually buy a lot of time against a push like this to get your tech out, to get the Colossi out to deal with the Marines, you know, further your Immortal count, get your probes up to a saturation level where you just have so many more units because you have a better economy. But in this case, because of all the damage done to him early on, he only has 34 probes to 36 SCVs, 37. And even the double mules come into play here.
Yeah.
The Raven is going to be able to drop a PDD once he has the battle location chosen, which will of course be at this ramp.
One thing I wasn't sure if Maru was doing was he was sending out his air units, or I wasn't sure if he was doing it on purpose. He was sending out the air units ahead and then like baiting the Stalkers into attacking it. And then once it got into tank range, the tanks were doing so much damage to the Stalkers. Regardless, only losing 1 Stalker, but here are the 3 tanks on the low ground. The overcharge is on that Nexus, but with the PDT down, it is going to block it. Maru very confident here to fight against this. Well, as I say that, he does back off. And these Blink Stalkers have to be careful.
Almost gets the siege tank, not quite able to do it. He needs to be careful about putting that on the medevac too, because the medevac's pretty low. He's quite good at this medevac type micro. He wants to be careful to engage this location as well. The Stalker army catches that siege tank. He may catch the second one as well. This is actually starting to look really good for San. Holds this off. He's still down on workers, but he's building a bigger army. And his composition is going to be in the long term much better than Maru's. There's no siege tank Marine comp that really works in this matchup the longer the game goes on. I believe that's the... Oh, he goes Templar Archives. Okay. This is peculiar, this game that we were watching. Feels like every time we watch these other players come to this region, it's like we're watching a time machine send us back to a very different time.
100%. I was talking to some of the Koreans here in the studio as well earlier on, and they had the same feeling. Kind of going back in time, looking at just different styles, different metas clash here in this one big tournament, the global tournament. Stim pack about to finish, as well as the ground armor +1.
That's scary, you know. Stim combat shields. He's going to have this Bioforce with siege tank support, which he has repaired. And I mean, that's not an SCV pool you look at on the minimap. That's just a ton of Marines. He has a massive army, 70 army supply to 58. His gateways that he's adding right now, he wants to have them for the attack. He wants to have charge, but the fact of the matter is he doesn't. And this attack is hitting right here and right now. 1 High Templar.
Yep, and there's 9 Marauders in this push. He's mixed up his composition here once he switched into that tech lab. He's gotten a bunch of these Marauders now. The siege up on the low ground. He has the stim and the combat shields finished here.
Could drop a PDD. He's going to wait, it looks like, till the last second. I mean, this is just a lot of damage output in Maru's army. Even with that Nexus cannon, he's just got so much here, plus the medevacs to help heal against it. And yeah, there's a lot of Immortals, but the siege tanks are well protected at the back. There's the PDD. And with the siege tanks at the back doing that extra damage and a mostly Marine army against these Immortals, it's tough for them to actually break through, but he's doing a decent job here. Can he actually push us all the way back with good targeting on the Immortals? Maybe so. Heals every last siege tank, and he still has Blink to chase.
Oh, this is a problem. These reinforcements have to meet up with those medevacs here and defend against that.
Seeker Missile kills a Stalker, the Raven with 8 hit points left.
And you guys are seeing, you know, the engineering bays here are late. We do have, I think it's just the +1 armor here for San, and the +1 attack is about to finish, but Maru getting those engineering bays a little bit late with all the tech he went for. Just going to finish the +1 to attack a little bit later, and then the +1 to armor is definitely behind there.
He just has a much better economy, and he's got a much better army composition. He just needed to have all those units back together. But those upgrades do hurt. Good blink there. Scouts this army coming. Doesn't have Storm yet, but he keeps adding these Templar in to make some additional Archons with that gas, and he's going to be able to, with this extra resources that he's got in minerals, make more Zealots. So he's building a solid composition, but it's slow, and it can't punish Maru's army, so he kills the Nexus and walks away. He has his own 3rd command center coming up. He's got constant barracks production here with all the extra mules he's going to have, especially when he has the three CCs dropping mules. It's going to be a scary place for San against this much bio. Now finally starts the Storm. Well, that's a lot of resources committed. Let's see how well he defends this drop. It's going to be a multi-pronged attack here.
There's the attack at the front, drawing the army units of San way out of the base. San getting a nice couple of force fields here, but is he ready here? Yes, he is. Has a bunch of Zealots, has the High Templar for the feedback as well. And that's going to be successfully defended.
Maru is just starting to choke here a little bit. His control is not 100% on point. Losing a lot of units here. He canceled the 3rd base, but the army of San is getting scarier and scarier. His upgrades are continuing. Yeah, Maru is finally caught up in upgrades, but just in time for +2 armor to nearly finish. Storm is on the way on the 3rd Nexus. And San has taken a supply lead now. And it's no longer an army that's weak. It's an army that's stronger than Maru's.
And more expensive. Once he has that Storm, it's going to be a nightmare for Maru to deal with. San is getting up his 3rd base now. Maru has it a little bit earlier, and he has it mining. So that is a little advantage he has for now. San is going to be a little bit later on the 3rd base. Maru's coming over here to poke at what he would assume is the position of the 3rd base, because San did have it before, but look at this. San going for a 2-pronged attack is going to go around the army of Maru, go and attack here at the main base, warp in. Vikings here for the attack, but look at this. Starting to kill a bunch of these probes that were main-arting to the 3rd Nexus. But at the same time, this huge attack, the whole army of the Protoss coming over there to the 3rd base, and there's nothing to defend.
Yep, nothing at all. The few Widow Mines here will go down without a hitch. Oh, wow. A few Archon shots more could have killed a ton of SCVs. This army here is annoying, but it's Storm, and he's not paying attention. Another Storm goes down here, hitting a lot of those Bioforces, and San may be ready to clean up this upset, man. He's going to make it a 2-0 and say, upset? What upset? Does lose his 3rd Nexus here, though. He hasn't quite finished off that Terran army. But he's got a massive force breaking up the ramp here. Storm's going down on this bio, and some of those SCVs as well. Maru is taking way too much damage here. There are 5 Immortals, count them, down there on the low ground, doing so much damage up here. And Maru is turning around with his army. Can he sandwich this? I don't think so. I think it's too little, too late.
It seems to be that way. He's got that back there at the 3rd base. He's got the mules dropping, and if he is possibly able to clean it up, maybe he could come back in this game. But look at those supplies. He's at half the supply of San right now. He's got a big fight ahead of him. He's got a micro like a god right now.
He's got to break up into a concave against Archons with Bio. Fat chance. Stacks up those medevacs. Got to be careful the Archon shots don't line up with that. So far, the micro here is godlike for Maru, but it's not even going to be enough. Way too many Immortals here. Can't dodge those shots. GG. San takes a 2-0 win over Maru, and suddenly this group becomes very interesting.
Oh yeah, man, this is unbelievable. San's showing that, you know, what gap between the regions are you guys talking about? I don't see it. He just comes here to Korea and says, "What, Maru? Who's that? I don't know about this guy."
Not only did he beat Maru, but he seemed to crush him.
Yeah.
Being down in almost every way for so long in this game, taking so many losses early on, then making every single right choice he needed to take against Maru, and Maru overextending himself. In Game 1 and in Game 2, I feel like Maru just overextended his lead, tried to get the win, didn't respect San as an opponent, and it cost him dearly.
That's definitely what I saw as well. It seemed like he was just trying to do too much, which, you know, some of the Protoss we see here in Korea, I feel like they respect him a lot, and they're just like, they lean back and they let Maru just go into them. But San was like, no, I'm going to fight you straight up, and I feel like that led to his victory.
Well, that was a crazy upset, Brendan. We're going to find out what else happens in this group. We're going to the winners match